Hyderabad biryani.
Hyderabad biryani.
Kodi vepudu.
Okay.
Ulavacharu chicken biryani.
Okay.
Gongura chicken biryani. Palnadu mutton biryani.
I guess most of the people come here for the non-vegetarian dishes, huh?
Because it's like a non-veg feast for them. We don't compromise with the quality.
Okay.
That is our first motto.
This is a dish that's brimming in its flavor. That's ulavacharu.
Yes, ulavacharu.
As they toss that biryani rice with the ulavacharu, adding a bit of nehi, I think it also adds to its toasty flavors. And that's the aroma that wafts through your mouth the moment you take a scoop of that biryani. Hi folks, this is Kripalamana Gourmet on the Road and you're watching Food Lovers TV. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe and strong. Well, this afternoon we've set out for lunch to an eatery that has come much recommended, not just now but over the last couple of years. So this is an eatery that's located in HRBR Layout, Kalyan Nagar in East Bengaluru, and over the last 4 years of its existence has become very popular for its combo meals and I'm told more recently for its buffet. I had ordered in some dishes from the eatery a few months ago when we were stuck at home during lockdown. So since everything is open, today we decided to visit the restaurant in person and savor a meal there. Well, what I'm told is very popular here are the combos that they have here and also the non-veg buffet. So you've got a combo there which is the unlimited non-veg combos, 3 starters, 2 biryanis for $2.99 unlimited, and then I think they also have some sort of a buffet. Namaskara.
Namaskara. My name is Harini.
Okay, you began this eatery.
Yes.
Namaskara. And that's your father?
Yeah, he's my father.
Krishna Reddy.
Mr. Krishna Reddy. So how old is Zamindar?
It's 4 years old.
4 years old.
Soon after completing graduation, everybody has 2 options.
Okay.
Whether to get a job or to start something on your own.
Okay.
So I was very much passionate about food industry.
Okay.
And then after all the discussions,
Okay.
I just shifted to the restaurant. Put a proposal to my dad. He was a bit shocked because none of them were from hotel background.
Okay.
Initially, I did not encourage her,
Okay.
but she has got the passion in this industry.
Okay.
So after some time, I accepted.
Fantastic. I think youngsters should have dreams, aspirations, and then you also need
Support.
the support
From parents.
of the parents, right? I think that's wonderful. So how many people do you seat here?
60 people.
60 people.
Yes.
And you've got multiple floors.
Yes, this is first floor.
Okay.
Then the third floor and fourth floor. Total 3 floors here. You can accommodate up to 200 people.
200 people.
Initially, it was Andhra style.
Okay.
Andhra style and multi-cuisine.
Okay.
Slowly we started this 299 rupees combo.
Okay.
In which we give 3 chicken starters and 2 varieties of biryanis.
Okay.
It's all unlimited.
Okay. And that's what became very popular.
Recently we have introduced a 399 buffet as well.
So I think people love to pay a fixed price and they like to get as much value out of it. Is that what works?
Yes. Andhra style, we have dedicated few dishes like kodi vepudu.
Okay.
Guntur kodi vepudu.
Okay.
Miryala kodi vepudu.
Okay.
Hyderabad chicken dum biryani, which is very popular all over.
Okay.
And ulavacharu chicken biryani.
Okay.
Gongura chicken biryani. Palnadu mutton biryani.
I guess most of the people come here for the non-vegetarian dishes, huh?
Because it's like a non-veg feast for them. It's
All right.
a total meal.
Okay.
So they feel very happy to taste all the dishes on one platter. He's my brother, younger
Okay.
brother.
Namaskara. Your name is Hari? Hari. All right. So Hari and Harini and Mr. and Mrs. Reddy.
I have done BH, hotel management.
Oh, you've done hotel management. So the two of you are in it now.
Yes. We use all superior quality products. This is the basmati which we use.
Dawat.
Nandini ghee, Shuddha tuppa.
Nandini nehi
Yes, we
in
call it neyi in Telugu.
Telugu. Tuppa or nehi always makes the heart glad.
Oil. Anything we use branded just to make sure that customer's stomach should not feel upset. We don't compromise with the quality.
Okay.
That is our first motto.
All right.
When I was a student, there were buffets in 500 rupees, 600 rupees range, where students can't afford especially. So what we thought was, in a budget-friendly price, let us introduce something for them.
Alright.
Even if there are limited varieties, they can have their happy meal.
They can have a happy meal, and so it's unlimited.
It's unlimited.
So although Harini talks about students, and I think she probably relates to her experience as a student, which wasn't too long ago, only about 3 or 4 years ago, and perhaps also that of Hari's, I think most of the customers that I see out here are mostly young professionals.
Yes, yes.
Right, so it's a place that you want to make as affordable to every segment.
Correct.
And including students who probably have the tightest pockets,
Yes,
because
just for them.
What is this?
Hyderabad biryani.
Hyderabad biryani. क्या नाम है आपका? शेख अब्दुल खुर्शीद. आपने बनाया बिरयानी? There's plenty of brista that goes into it.
We'll make the ready masala, which consists of dalchini, laung, ilachi, star flower, jaggery, jaifal,
Okay,
shahjeera,
okay.
and then we'll mix the chicken in that masala.
In that masala. तो चावल पहले अलग पकाते हो, boil करके, half boil करते हो.
Yeah. We'll parboil the rice.
And then when the biryani is ready, well, you bring all the layers together. So आपके जो बिरयानी में जो slightly लाल क्यों है ज़्यादा?
Because of the red chili powder. We use Guntur chili and Kashmiri chili.
And Kashmiri chili. So you do a combination.
Yes. Usually Kashmiri chili gives
Nice color.
good color.
That certainly is a biryani that I'm looking forward to tasting. So that's your chicken tikka.
We have people from different parts of India.
Okay.
So what we thought is, let us do something for the North Indians.
You began with Andhra and then you added various cuisines to the restaurant. And so you have different flavors for people to taste. So whether you want to taste a kodi vepudu,
Yes.
or a chicken tikka, or like perhaps one of the Chinese cooks here is doing the Hong Kong chicken, it's all available.
All of them.
That's ulavacharu.
Yes, ulavacharu.
Basically it's a horse gram.
Horse gram.
So there's a tedious process to making it, right? You have to
Yes.
soak it for hours.
Hours.
So that's your ulavacharu biryani.
Ulavacharu chicken biryani.
So you have some Hyderabadi chicken biryani.
With ulavacharu.
Okay. This is the gongura biryani,
Yes.
the sauce orel. So the base for all these biryanis is your Hyderabadi dum biryani. Well, now we also have the gongura biryani ready. On that note, let's get to the dining area here at Zamindar and savor some bhojanam. This is a family that's completely hands-on, as you can see. Krishna Reddy Garu has bought the appetizers himself. Well, what we've decided to do for our meal here at Zamindar is not go with either the 299 or the 399 combos that they have. We've decided to pick and choose a few of their signature dishes. So we've got 4 appetizers and we've got 4 of their biryanis. This is a dish that I tasted the last time. This is basically the Andhra kodi vepudu, which is fry of sorts of the chicken. I loved this dish the last time, so I said I must taste it again. And then there are a couple of oriental chicken appetizers here. This is the Hong Kong chicken, I'm told. This is the Singapore chicken. I said, what is the difference between the Hong Kong chicken and the Singapore chicken? They said the Hong Kong chicken is spicier and the Singapore chicken is slightly mellow. So perhaps people in Hong Kong love their spice. People in Singapore like things a little tamer. And then we have a North Indian appetizer. This is the chicken tikka. Some plump morsels of the chicken tikka that we saw being cooked in the tandoor. And then we have 4 biryanis. The Hyderabadi chicken biryani that we saw just being opened after dum. And this biryani then becomes the basis for the other 2 biryanis that you have here. This is the ulavacharu biryani. So the ulavacharu is a very popular Andhra preparation which involves the horse gram, where the horse gram is soaked for a few hours and then they extract the puree of that horse gram. So that horse gram puree is tossed with the Hyderabadi biryani to make the ulavacharu biryani. A similar technique is also employed for the gongura biryani. So the gongura is a condiment, is a chutney made of the sorrel, I think no Andhra meal is complete without the gongura chutney. And when you introduce the gongura chutney to the Hyderabadi biryani, well, you get a gongura chicken biryani. And the only mutton dish that we have here is the mutton kheema biryani. So as you can see out here in Zamindar, I think most of the people around seem to love the chicken, and therefore there's plenty more of the chicken in the appetizers and the biryani. I think what's interesting about a meal here is the flexibility that it offers you. So whether you're here on a budget of $299, you get 3 chicken appetizers, 2 biryanis, you can eat your heart out. Or if you have a little more money to splurge, maybe $399, you get the chicken appetizers, you get the vegetarian appetizers, you get some curries, some gravies, some dal, and then again 2 biryanis. And if you're the sort that wants to be picky and choosy about what you want to savor, then well, the a la carte menu is for you. We're making a beginning here with that kodi, vepudu. So when I ordered for the takeaway home, I also remember trying the kodi kura served with a garelu. Us here in Karnataka would identify that as a vade. And that vade was dunked into that chicken curry, and that's how you make a meal of it. Anyways, enough talking. Let's get to that vepudu. Vepudu basically means a fry, and this is a chicken fry. This was a dish that stole my heart when I tasted this the last time around too, in takeaway mode at home, and it has the same effect on my palate this time around as well. You can taste the coconut in there, the onions too. The onions have been braised nicely, so there's a certain savory sweetness to the onions, but then that is quite quickly offset by that pachim mirapakai, that is a green chili. So the lasting impression on your palate, on your tongue, on your taste bud is that of the green chili. I love the flavor of the garam masala too, that's emanating from that kodi vepudu. This is also the sort of dish that would go very well, let's say if you have some annam on the side, some pappu, a little bit of nehi if you like to indulge yourself, and some kodi vepudu on the side, crested here with some of that curry leaf. I think they call it the karve pappu, if I'm not mistaken. This is a dish that's brimming in its flavor. I think let's move now to that chicken tikka. The tikka is nice and moist, and that's something that I'm always very particular about. You know, you want that bird to be moist all the way in. I have a bit of the pungent hit of that mustard oil that goes into the marinade of that chicken tikka. I can definitely taste that. I can also taste a bit of that ginger garlic that goes into the marinade too. I think what I need with that tikka definitely is some of that pudina chutney, because what I'm tasting a lot is the heaty punch of the red chili powder that has gone into that marinade. I think in the kodi vepudu, please forgive my pronunciations. If I'm slightly 19-20, I'm doing my best. In the vepudu, the spice quotient came from the green chili, and out here in this tikka is definitely the red chilies. So the lineage of this place is Andhra. So it's to be expected that they like their chili heat. Rarely do I reach for water in between a meal. I only do so when I need some cooling respite. I'm hoping that pudina chutney too, with some yogurt that is a part of the preparation, will also help placate my taste buds. I can taste a bit of the salty hit in that pudina chutney, a bit of the tang that comes from lemon, and it certainly helps tone down that red chili heat. I can't wait to get to the biryani, but I think before that, let's go for some of that Oriental style Hong Kong chicken. This is a dish that's quite mild in its manners as opposed to the previous 2 appetizers that I tasted. There's a bit of tartness that I'm tasting, perhaps from some lemon. Plenty of that garlic hit, and also the vegetable notes of the capsicum. The dish has cooled down a bit, thereby quite mimicking the texture that you will taste if this is placed on a buffet. So if possible, definitely try and make sure you get it piping hot. There's plenty of sweetness that I taste in this Hong Kong chicken. What I like is that the cornstarch coating isn't the sort that's obliterating the texture of the chicken. Sometimes when you're tasting Indo-Chinese style appetizers, if the cornstarch coating is a little too much, that's all that you're tasting. It's starchiness. But out here the cornstarch does well to allow that morsel of chicken to hold on to the flavors, be it that of the garlic or the sauces or the flakes of chili that are tossed together. Slightly on the sweeter side, which has certainly helped cleanse my palate of all that chili heat as I now find my way to the biryanis. And I'm going to make a beginning with the plain Hyderabadi chicken biryani. What's good is that most of the rice is akha, so the rice grains haven't broken in the course of the cooking. The rice is very mellow in its flavors. I think what I'm going to do is scoop up some of the rice from the bottom, because the biryani pot has been sitting here for a while, so the rice on top has hardened a bit because of its exposure to the environment. You can taste some of the aromas of the akha spices greet your palate, and also a bit of pudina, a bit of mint that I think goes into that marinade. The rice by itself is quite fulsome and weighty in the manner that it sits on your tongue. Let's go now for some of that chicken. You know, when I tasted this biryani the last time around, in takeaway mode, I enjoyed the biryani. But the only feedback I had then was that the masala of that biryani, that masala hadn't penetrated all the way into the chicken. But out here, as you can see, that masala has certainly worked its way into the bird. And that bird is moistened, is softened with the weight of that biryani masala. So when you're savoring a Hyderabadi biryani, you will find most of the masala clinging to the meat. So what you need to do, get flecks of the meat with a bit of the masala and introduce that to the chawal, to that basmati rice. And that's what conveys the complete flavor of that Hyderabadi kachi biryani. If you want some flavors that are very hatke from that of the chicken biryani, well, you could introduce it to some of that salan. What you're tasting there is some khatas that comes perhaps from some tamarind, the nuttiness of the sesame. There's also a bagar or a seasoning of mustard seeds that you're tasting there, and you also have the nuttiness of some peanuts. But if you were to ask me personally, I prefer the flavor of that chicken biryani just by itself. Some ulavacharu biryani now. This is a biryani that is a signature of, well, Andhra, Telangana, because they love the ulavacharu, which is a nourishing gruel that's made of horse gram. It's a process that takes a few hours. But in contrast, this biryani, the coming together of this biryani is rather quick, because what they do is they take some of that Hyderabadi biryani and they toss that along with the ulavacharu. The flavor of the ulavacharu is rather interesting. So you have a bit of the smoky earthiness that is a character of the horse gram, and then there's also a bit of sweetness. And that rice has completely taken on the character of that ulavacharu. I love its smokiness, its earthy smokiness. I think this ulavacharu biryani, in my opinion, is certainly a must-have when you come here. Now, for those of you who may say, well, this is a jatka biryani, well, certainly not. Because that ulavacharu to prepare takes hours. They have to first soak the horse gram for a few hours and then boil it, adding a few other ingredients. And even the biryani is a biryani that's prepared on dum. It's only the union of the dum biryani and the ulavacharu that happens in a jiffy. But otherwise, both the individual components are such that require hours of preparation. Somewhere there's also a bit of the heat that I can taste, perhaps from the red chilies that are either a part of that chicken marinade there or that have gone into that ulavacharu. I still have the gongura biryani to taste and that mutton keema biryani, but this has certainly won my heart. The smoky earthiness of that ulavacharu. And I think as they toss that biryani rice with the ulavacharu, adding a bit of nehi, I think it also adds to its toasty flavors. And that's the aroma that wafts through your mouth the moment you take a scoop of that biryani. Delicious. I also love that slight tinge of sweetness that you taste at the very end. Biryani number 2 done. Time to get to the gongura. I think no Andhra meal is complete without the gongura. And out here at Zamindar, they said, well, why don't we do a biryani too with the gongura chutney. So gongura, for those not in the know, is the sorrel leaf that is sour in its flavors, and there's a whole bunch of spices, chilies, etc. that go into its making, some curry leaves too. You can taste the sour notes of the gongura, and somewhere in there is also the toastiness of some curry leaves. I can also taste a bit of the heat from the red chili, I think, that goes into the making of the gongura. So unlike the ulavacharu biryani, which is rather easy going, the sort that doesn't take too much of getting used to, the gongura biryani, well, you've got to train your palate a bit for it, because when you're putting a biryani in your mouth, you're not really prepared for sour flavors, and that's really the dominant flavor note of the gongura, the sourness. So if you like that, along with a bit of the heat of the chili, this is certainly a biryani that you can taste. The gongura biryani also takes up the chili quotient by a few notches, mimicking the sort of punchy expressions that typical Andhra food leaves on your palate. Mutton keema biryani. Thank you. So here again the rice is cooked on dum. It's that chicken biryani rice that they toss with some mince and a little bit of nehi, little bit of ghee. So the last time around I tasted that gongura mutton biryani, which was rather interesting. Today I tasted the gongura chicken biryani, and of course the flavor of the gongura was one that overpowers pretty much everything else that's there on the plate. But when it comes to the gongura mutton biryani, because the mutton has so much of its own flavors to bring to that mix, the gongura tends to complement that mutton biryani. So if you haven't caught my takeaway episode on Zamindar yet, I'm going to place a link in the description. Do take a look at that episode to also get a sense of some of the other dishes that this eatery specializes in. I can taste plenty of the garam masala in that mutton keema. There's also a bit of that red chili hit that I'm getting. The advantage in a mutton keema biryani is that with every morsel of the rice, you will have some meat that's trapped within. But I personally like my mutton in nice juicy chunks. This biryani, I'm told, is a part of the buffet. So on the buffet you have that chicken biryani, the Hyderabadi chicken biryani, and also that mutton biryani. A bit of raita, some perugu. What is this?
Annam, palakura pappu, avakai, nehi.
And some paisam as well. We have to have some pappula podi first, no? This I typically do at the beginning of a meal. And some nehi. This is a spinach pappu. So notwithstanding the tikka and the Hong Kong chicken and the Singapore chicken that we've tasted, at the heart of it, Zamindar has in its DNA Andhra culinary tradition. So I think it's only fitting that we close with the annam, nehi, pappula podi and the pappu. Of course, not to miss the gongura and the avakai. I've said it 1,000 times before, and I'll say it 1,000,000 times in the future. Each time I savor a scoop of that annam, nehi and that pappula podi. There's something so soul satisfying about that morsel. So I've tasted that tikka, I've tasted that vepudu, I've tasted The gongura biryani, ulavacharu biryani, Hyderabadi dum biryani, mutton biryani. But the satisfaction that you get from some annam, pappu podi and nehi, and now that pappu is quite unbeatable. So the pappu that I'm tasting here is a very home style pappu. In some restaurants you will find the pappu a little thick, but I think typically in homes this is the texture, this is the consistency of the pappu. So I think if I were to go to Reddy Garu's house and have a meal, I think this is the sort of pappu that you would taste. There's a bit of sourness that comes from some puli, from some tamarind that goes in. And if you want to add to that sour quotient, well, there's also that gongura chutney to perk things up flavor wise, and also some of that avocado pickle. This avocado pickle is still very young, so as the pickle ages over a few months, the flavors tend to become more rounded. In this pickle you can taste the chili heat right on your throat, but as that pickle ages, the spice quotient, the spiciness of it mellows down, and also the color turns from this bright orangish red to a deeper crimson hue. Well, this has been an enjoyable afternoon here at Zamindar Restaurant. I've received recommendations to visit this eatery over the last couple of years, but of course things were what they were and we couldn't make the trek here. We ordered some of the dishes at home once, but I think nothing beats visiting the restaurant, soaking in the atmosphere, and more importantly, speaking to the people behind the enterprise. At the heart of this enterprise, Zamindar Restaurant, is one young entrepreneur's passion to get into the food space, backed by a family. And having spent over 2.5 decades in the food space, I know this is certainly not the easiest of businesses to venture into. But what is heartening is that in a relatively short span of time, Zamindar Restaurant has managed to carve out a niche for itself amongst hundreds of food lovers who throng here every day. Not just for the Andhra flavors and other culinary influences that are presented, but the sort that's presented in a manner that makes it extremely affordable to relish. So if you want to savor some Andhra fare, a range of biryanis and some things else, definitely find your way to Zamindar Restaurant. You can choose from their multiple combos on offer or their very special a la carte that includes gems like that ulavacharu biryani. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Gourmet on the Road. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong, and happy eating. Oh, you have the pootharekulu as well. To be honest, I'm rather stuffed. But then if the pootharekulu has found its way all the way from Athreyapuram in the East Godavari district to meet us on the table here, courtesy demands that we accord it equal respect. Actually, you can just place it in your mouth. You don't need to chew on it. That rice paper quite literally dissolves away, allowing for the sweetness of the sugar and some of the nuts to rest on your tongue. That rice paper serves only to contain the exuberant notes of that jaggery and that toasted nuts. And of course, there's plenty of tuppa that seals the deal. There was also this kheer that you get on the buffet. Between the kheer and the pootharekulu, it's a no-brainer. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As, and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. Happy eating!